Well, good evening. We'll call the July 9th City Commission meeting to order. Obviously, we have a few missing people tonight. Our divided up our responsibilities, I guess, and Mayor Kaler and Commissioner Abraham are with us. Community delegation headed to D.C. to have meetings with the Department of Energy and with our congressional delegation and probably anyone else who will listen to them about our concerns and our wants and what we feel is important for our community with the closure of the Paducah gaseous diffusion plant. So we certainly wish them safe travels and wisdom and guidance and probably a lot of patience while they're there. And also, we have filling in with us, our city manager is also in D.C. on another workshop. He's not with that group, but he's at some other meeting. So Mark Thompson with Parks and Recreation is our acting city manager tonight. So we're glad to have you here.
Thank you.
And I will mention that Mayor Kaler and Commissioner Abraham are with a group from the Paducah Economic Development, United Steelworkers, the Chamber, as well as county officials as well. So they'll be up there for tomorrow for meetings. City Clerk, if you would call the roll.
Commissioner Abraham, Commissioner Galt,
Present.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Here.
Commissioner Wilson,
Here.
Mayor Kaler.
Okay, at this time I'd like to ask Reverend Lynn Shirley with the First Presbyterian Church in Paducah if he would come to the podium and lead our invocation, and if everyone would stand, and then be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let us pray. God of one and God of all, God of great and God of small, receive our gratitude for the many gifts, privileges, and opportunities we've received in this life. Give us such gratitude that we in positions of power might use our eyes to see the needs and the potential around us, that we might use our ears to hear the cries of complaint and encouragement of this community's citizens, that we might use our hearts to be sensitively tuned to the hopes and dreams of these people, that we might use our skills and strengths to make programs and infrastructure that provide health to this community's life, that we might use our minds and our creativity to discover new ways to lead and walk beside each other in our partnership for this common task. Bless the efforts of all elected to positions of power, and bless the lives of those who are affected by, who participate in, and who share the labor needed to build up this community and bring together her people. Amen.
Join me, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Reverend Shirley. We appreciate you being with us. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on. City Manager, are there any additions to the agenda?
Yes, we have one introduction, which would be item 5D, which is the 2013-14 Kentucky Household Hazardous Waste Grant Award introduction.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Galt, do you have the minutes?
I move that the reading of the minutes for June 11, 12, and 24, 2013 City Commission minutes be waived, and that the minutes of said meetings prepared by the City Clerk be approved as written.
Seconded.
City Manager? City Clerk? Promoted you?
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilson.
Aye. Commissioner Rhodes, we'll move on to the motions now.
I move that the following documents be received and filed. Certificates of insurance, Tabor Crane Construction, right-of-way bond, AST Environmental Incorporated, City of Paducah Fountain Avenue Housing Revitalization Project construction contracts 533-535 Fountain Avenue with Petratus Construction Ordinance 2013-4-8027, 1330 Madison Street with Jim Steele Construction Ordinance 2013-6-8041. Interlocal cooperative agreement between the city and the MAP-GIS Consortium for the acquisition and administration of a ESRI multi-jurisdictional enterprise license and contract with Environmental Systems Research Institute Incorporated Ordinance 2011-12-7888. Document for Teletech Interlocal Cooperation Agreement Ordinance 2012-12-7986. Ground lease agreement for Tract 30 of Section 6 in the Paducah Information Age Park, MO number 1716, Assignment agreement with lease agreement for Track 30 of Section 6 in the Paducah Information Age Park MO 17-16. Bids, 516 Walter John Boulevard, Dana Davy, Julian Rose, 1423 Walter John Boulevard, Buford Wilson, and Julianne Rose.
Second.
Any discussion? City Clerk?
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilson.
Aye. All right, now we'll move into municipal orders, and back to you, Commissioner Galt.
Upon the recommendation of the city manager, the Board of Commissioners of the City of Paducah order that the personnel changes on the attached list be approved.
Need a second?
Second. Sorry. I'm just kidding.
Okay. Hello, Cindy.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilson and Commission, we have for your approval tonight just some basic maneuverings at the pool, and we have a resignation of our concrete finisher. Paul Reichel has been with us over 13 years, and he's going to leave us to go do some missionary work, so we wish him the best.
Okay.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. City Clerk? Thank you.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilson.
Aye. Okay, Commissioner Rhodes?
I move that a municipal order entitled, a municipal order approving the sale of real property located at 1423 Walter John Boulevard for and in consideration of $101 to Buford Wilson be adopted.
Second.
Hi, Steve.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. This is first of two agenda items to further reduce our surplus property list. The first one is wanting to hold on to that for further for future construction, probably within the next year or two, with the adjacent lot.
Any other discussion? Okay. City Clerk?
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilson.
Aye. Okay, Commissioner Galt?
I move that a municipal order entitled, a municipal order approving the sale of real property located at 516 Walter John Boulevard for and in consideration of $250 to Dana Davy be adopted.
Seconded.
Okay.
Once again, this property owner is wanting to develop it in the future. The city's actually been maintaining the property since 2000, so when a property owner comes along and wants to maintain the property for us and possibly construct in the future, we'll try to transfer the property to them. So that's what's happening here.
Everybody wins.
That's right.
Okay. Thank you. City Clerk?
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilson.
Aye. Okay, now we'll move into ordinance and adoptions, of which we will vote on tonight. Commissioner Rhodes?
Okay. I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Paducah accepting a 2013-2014 law enforcement service fee grant award for the DUI enforcement by the Paducah Police Department and authorizing the mayor to execute a grant agreement and all documents relating thereto with the Kentucky Justice and Public Safety Cabinet. This ordinance is summarized as follows: that the City of Paducah hereby accepts grant funds in the amount of $8,985 to the Kentucky Justice and Public Safety Cabinet for a 2013-2014 law enforcement service fee grant award to be used by the Paducah Police Department for DUI enforcement, and hereby authorizes the mayor to execute a grant agreement and all documents relating thereto.
Second.
Any discussion? I see Assistant Chief Barnhill's here. Do you all have any other discussion? You have any comments? We
Don't have anything
discussed
further
this
to add,
last
no
week.
ma'am.
Okay. City Clerk?
Commissioner Galt,
Thank you.
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilson.
Aye. We'll move on. Commissioner Galt?
I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the City of Paducah authorizing a grant agreement with the Kentucky Environmental and Public Protection Cabinet Division of Waste Management for a 2013-2014 Kentucky Recycling Grant, approving an interlocal agreement between the City of Paducah and McCracken County Fiscal Court for the city's administration of funds received for the recycling grant to purchase equipment for the volunteer-operated recycling drop-off center located at 1830 North 8th Street, and authorizing the mayor to execute all documents necessary to accept the recycling award. This ordinance is summarized as follows. The City of Paducah hereby approves a grant agreement with the Kentucky Environmental and Public Protection Cabinet Division of Waste Management for a 2013-2014 Kentucky Recycling Grant in the amount of $21,500 for the purchase of equipment to be used at the Volunteer Drop-Off Recycling Center located at 1830 North 8th Street. A local match of $7,168 is required by the City of Paducah and County of McCracken contributing $3,584 each. Further, the City of Paducah hereby approves an interlocal agreement with the McCracken County Fiscal Court, agreeing to accept and to administer the funds for the recycling grant, and authorizes the mayor to execute all documents necessary to accept the recycling award.
Seconded.
Do you all have any other questions? Steve Irvin's here.
I'm glad to see we're doing it. That means that it appears that recycling will continue on.
Another step forward.
Yeah. So that's,
Okay.
I take that as a good sign.
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilson.
Aye. Okay, we'll move on to the sale of Sheehan Bridge Road property. Commissioner Rhodes?
All right. I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a deed of conveyance and all other documents relating thereto between the City of Paducah and Todd and Deborah Tees for sale of real property located on Sheehan Bridge Road. This ordinance is summarized as follows, that the mayor of the City of Paducah is hereby authorized to execute a deed of conveyance and all other documents relating thereto between the City of Paducah and Todd and Deborah Tees for the sale of real property located on Sheehan Bridge Road in the amount of $185,120.
Second.
Mark, you have any comment?
Nope.
Any other discussion?
No.
I was there the night of the auction.
Yes,
Saw a
I
family
was
that
too.
was very happy to be
Yes, they
moving into
were.
that home. City Clerk?
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilson.
Aye. Commissioner Galt will continue with the sale of Sheehan Bridge Road property.
I move that the Board of Commissioners adopt an ordinance entitled, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a deed of conveyance and all other documents relating thereto between the City of Paducah and Stephen and Karen Jackson for sale of real property located on Sheehan Bridge Road. This ordinance is summarized as follows, that the mayor of the City of Paducah is hereby authorized to execute a deed of conveyance and all other documents relating thereto between the City of Paducah and Stephen and Karen Jackson for sale of real property located on Sheehan Bridge Road in the amount of $679,041.
Seconded.
And I would say I'm glad that we have sold the property and are putting that money to good use in another project within the city. However, I still hope that at some time we will find the funding to do what we were wanting to with the Sheehan Bridge Road property, with the sportsplex.
And all I would say, coming from the car business, is sometimes our first loss is our best loss. I've said that many times when I've traded for cars over the years. I'm happy to.
City Clerk?
Commissioner Galt,
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wilson.
Aye. We'll move on now to ordinance that will be introduced tonight, but we will not vote on these. And the first one is a zone change for Pecan Drive. Commissioner Rhodes.
I guess that's. I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, an ordinance approving the final report of the Paducah Planning Commission on the proposed zone change for property located at 161 Pecan Court and amending the Paducah zoning ordinance so as to affect such rezoning. This ordinance is summarized as follows. Rezone property located at 161 Pecan Court from R1 low-density residential zone to R4 high-density residential zone and amending the Paducah zoning ordinance to affect such rezoning.
Second.
Steve, would you like to?
Yes, this zone change is for 7.7 acres on the east side of Pecan Drive and US 62. The ophthalmology group is going to locate their new headquarters there. The building will be approximately 30,000 square feet. The Planning Commission did hold a public hearing and presented findings of fact, which I think was part of your resolution. A majority of the property, all but 1 acre, is in compliance with our future land use plan. When the future land use plan was adopted, we did not have the exact alignment of Pecan Drive, so it was hard to actually declare what was going to be a business park in the future, because usually that's done by parcel. So the findings of fact basically say that it is in compliance with our future land use plan and that there has been major economic changes since the adoption of the original future land use plan. So the Planning Commission has made a positive recommendation after the public hearing and is now before you.
Right. It's exciting that we have somebody willing to make that kind of investment.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to Noble Park Pool Engineering Change. Commissioner Galt.
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Authorizing and Directing the Mayor to Execute Change Order Number 1 with Florence and Hutchison for the Noble Park Pool Renovation Project." This ordinance is summarized as follows. The Mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute Change Order Number 1 in the amount of $40,995 to pay for additional engineering services for completion of the Noble Park Pool Renovation Project, increasing the total contract price to $184,195, which includes addendum number 1.
Seconded.
Mark.
Mayor Pro Tem, Commission, thank you. This is for additional services provided when we put in an extra bid, and we've had to have additional oversight to coordinate with the 3 contracts. It has cost us some more as far as on-site supervision and some design work. So with that, we're looking, most of this is on-site supervision, and we may be seeing some of that back in future contracts negotiations. So,
Have any questions?
No.
Okay. Commissioner Rhodes.
All right. I move the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Authorizing and Directing the Mayor to Execute Change Order Number 1 with Mid-States Construction Incorporated for the Noble Park Pool Renovation Phase 2 project." This ordinance is summarized as follows. The Mayor is hereby authorized and directed to execute Change Order Number 1 in the amount of $15,727.61 to remove an old asbestos hot water tank for the Noble Park Pool Renovation Phase 2 project, increasing the total contract to $155,334.61.
Second.
again, this was part of the second contract on the concession stand, and there was an old asbestos water heater on the site that we had to remove. When it was determined we had to move it, there were 2 options. One was to cut it up on site and move it out the existing door. The second was to move it whole out of a hole in the wall. The exposure opportunities with friable asbestos and that sort of thing made it more dangerous and thus more costly. So it was actually cheaper to knock a hole in the wall, carry the whole thing out. And that's what this is.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay. And then we have the addition tonight of the Household Hazardous Waste Grant Award to our agenda.
I move that the Board of Commissioners introduce an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance Accepting Matching Grant Funds through the Kentucky Division of Waste Management for a 2013-2014 Household Hazardous Waste Grant for funding the annual City-County Cleanup Day and authorizing the Mayor to execute a grant agreement, an interlocal agreement with McCracken County and all documents relating thereto." This ordinance is summarized as follows. The City of Paducah hereby accepts matching grant funds in the amount of $30,000 through the Kentucky Division of Waste Management for 2013-2014 Household Hazardous Waste Grant to fund disposal services and an educational outreach program for the 2014 annual City-County Cleanup Day, and authorizes the Mayor to execute a grant agreement and interlocal agreement with McCracken County and all documents relating thereto. Commissioner Rhodes, do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, Steve.
We got the award. This is the 23rd year, so this is for adoption. So, I'm sorry for introduction, but for acceptance of the award.
Okay. Any other discussion?
It's pretty
Do we at least
self-explanatory.
get to kid the county that we get to pay half, and yet we only use 32% of the grant, and they get 68% of the grant? Can we at least kid Van and Doug and those guys? You know, you know, maybe we get them to buy us a sandwich or something, or buy us lunch or something, or do something for the city. Anyway, it's fine. I just wanted to point that out. We're being mighty charitable.
Thank you, Steve. We appreciate it. Thank you, Commissioner Rhodes. All right. Do we have a city manager report, Mark?
I was not given any additional, but I know you have something here on the concert downtown that we've had to move location. For folks' information, the river is up a bit and we had to move the electric out of the off of the Wilson stage, the electric pad. And actually, as of 4 o'clock this afternoon, I think they've gone ahead and put barricades up so people aren't driving down to the riverfront at this time.
So that changed to the Thursday night concert for this
Yes, it
week,
did.
which is why I was going to announce the Hearts of Saints concert that was scheduled to be down on Wilson Stage will now be on the lawn of the Carson Center. So we
Right.
appreciate that partnership with the Carson Center.
They responded very nicely and very quickly, and I think it's a good setting also.
Okay, I will just say that the Hearts of Saints has a Paducah native as
Yes,
a front man,
Craig
Craig
Felker.
Felker.
Yes.
So we're really looking forward to that. And with the concert this Thursday night, there will not be a live on Broadway Saturday night.
Correct.
Okay, and that concert starts at 7:30 Thursday night.
Let me put a plug in for Craig and Hearts of Saints. He was interviewed by WKMS in their Sounds Good program this morning from 11 to 12. So it talks about Craig, and of course he's a good Lower Towner, so
I believe
I'm plugging Craig Felker.
there's a chance that they will also be on Saturday morning's morning show on WPSD.
Wonderful.
Great, great. We're glad to have them. I would also like to compliment the Paducah Parks Department for the fireworks Thursday night. We were able to be down on the riverfront, and when you said it was going to be delayed just a minute, I thought, oh no, but it was maybe 5 minutes at the most, and it lasted over 30 minutes. It was a great show.
When they told me that they were delayed, I was thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to be 15, 20 minutes the way they were talking. But then they called back to Amy Clark, my recreation superintendent, and she said, they're ready. It was a great surprise. Everybody, we really have to thank McGinnis National Maintenance and Pine Bluff for their work and getting us and allowing us to use their equipment to get us into the center of the river to put on such a grand show.
Well, it was great, and the crowd was huge. Took a while to get out of downtown, but that was exciting. So
Unless you lived in Lower Town,
Well,
it was
that's
easy. We
true.
just
It was
walked
easy.
over. It was
I don't
easy.
live that far, but it did take a little while just to get
But
my car out. So
the
it was
weather
great.
was absolutely terrific. It's the first time I've ever seen anybody put a coat on, a jacket on the 4th of July because of the cool breeze coming through. So, but it was a terrific night. Doug Van Fleet and the folks did a great job, as did the kids from the Market House.
Yes.
Did a terrific reading of the Declaration of Independence, and so that was terrific, and it was just a great night.
Yeah, thank you to you all. Please thank all your staff, and I know police and fire and everyone else was down there too. It was a full city effort, so thank you to everyone for that.
We'll pass it along.
So, also wanted to mention that our community lost a great public servant this week, Buddy Smith, who passed away on Saturday, and his funeral was today. Some of us were at that, so we want to extend to his family our sympathy, and he certainly will be missed. I know I worked with him closely on the development of Industrial Park West, as everyone has their story of something that they've worked on with Buddy Smith and the great work he's done for our community. So we want to extend our hearts to and prayers to that family. At this point, is there any other comments?
No executive session.
No executive session tonight. I
Do
think
we have
pretty
public
much
comments? No.
no public comments. So I think we're pretty much at close to a record time here. Anything else?
Did pretty well.
All right. Well, thank you all. We'll stand adjourned.